Hello, welcome back to your Oracle DBA tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to discuss about very basic concept about locking. So let's take an example that we have two boxes. So let's say this is called box A, and then we have another box called box B. Okay, and then in this box, let's say I have something. There's a paper where I have written 100, and in this box there is a paper where I have written 200. All right. Let's say I have two people. So this is person P1 and here is another person P2. What I'm saying is that both the person P1 and P2 go and read, then after you read, whatever value you get, you subtract that value with 10. So deduct 10 from that value, and let's basically write it properly. So first thing is step is read, and then deduct 10 from whatever you read, and then what is the final amount, you write that. Okay, so this is a three instruction that I have given to this person P1 and P2. Okay, so now I ask P1 go to box A and I ask P2 go to box B. So therefore P1 is going to read 100, and then P1 is going to deduct whatever the value is 100 minus 10 is 90, and then write that 90 to this box A. So therefore what I'm going to see here, I'm going to see here 90. Similarly, P2 is going to box B and he reads 200 and subtract 10 from there, and then he got it 190. Okay, so far so good, everything is just fine, whatever we expected. Now let's do one thing. Now let's remove this box B. Okay, so we just have only box A. Let's say to start with we have 100 here. So now what I'm saying is I'm asking this P1 and P2 to do the same operation, read, deduct, write from here. So that means P1 goes to box A and P2 also go to box A, the same box. Okay, so let's see what's going to happen. So P1 goes there. Let's say P1 reaches there first. Okay, and then P1 saw that first operation is read, right? So now it is P1 and he reads 100, and then P2 reads at the box, then P2 whenever he goes there, P2 also read 100, right? Then what happens, P1 said that okay, I have to deduct. Okay, so P1 then does the deduction step, and P1 just 100 minus 10, he make it 90. Okay, and then for whatever reason P1, so P1 after P1 deduce this thing to 90, and also P2 also deduced because he also sees P2 also got 100, so therefore his number is 90. Okay, then let's say P1 writes back. So let's say P1 writes back, so it was 100, so P1 writes 90 now. Then P2 also can go on and writes back, and then P1 also writes whatever P1 wrote, P2 went and override those things again to 90. Okay, so if you see, we say that there's two deduction happen, like one deduction by P1, another deduction by P2, but actually it looks like only one deduction is gone and second deduction is just overwritten. Okay, so that means whoever is going to write first, his update is gone, because eventually the other person is going to come and then override that one. So essentially what happens here, we seeing a problem. That problem is called lost update problem. Okay, so this problem was not there whenever they are accessing different boxes, box A and box B. But whenever they are trying to access the same box and trying to change, and depending on who changed the last, his his or her update is going to be going to be there. But whoever is going to update first, his update or his or her update is going to be lost. And this is a very typical problem whenever we are going to share something. A share, because this box is a resource, and this box is shared across two persons, P1 and P2, right? So if you share this kind of thing, then you might have this problem of lost update. So if you got the problem of lost update and how to solve, the solution is also very simple. That what you can do, this is a box, right? So in that box, like what you do, you put a lock in the box. Okay, so that means if somebody, so you put a lock in the box, and let's say, like after you put the lock, what is going to happen? So let's say this is P1, okay, and then this is your P2. So let's say, and we are also going to do the same operations, right? That is read, deduct, write. Okay, so if you want to do the same operation, so now let's say the first one is P1 goes there. So when P1 goes there, and see, like if this box is locked or somebody else is if it's open, and then what he says that, oh okay, so this looks like nobody is doing anything. He opened the box, and once he opened the box, he saw the number 100. So when he is inside that box doing this change and write, then what he is going to do, he is going to put a lock in the box. Okay, so that means the way it is going to go, so P1 goes to the box first. So this is a box A. So P1 goes to the box, and then see if the box is is there to use or somebody else has locked. If the box is there free, then the first thing you will do, you will lock the box. So who locked the box in this case? In this case, P1 locked the box. Then P1 reads, then you deduct whatever he reads, and then write. So like while P1 is in this step of deducting, let's say P2 arrives there, because we tell both P1 and P2 to go on and do all these three steps, right? So when P2 goes there, and P2 says that, oh okay, because he cannot enter to the box because somebody else has already locked it, right? So therefore P2 is going to wait. P2 is going to wait until P1 finishes read, deducts, write. Then after write, what he say? He is done. So he release the lock. When he release the lock, that means the box is again free now. So when the P2 is going there, is waiting. P2 is going to say, well, like I can enter now. Then what P2 is going to do? P2 is going to lock the box then. And this is done by P2, right? And then P2 is going to read, deduct, write, and once it's finished, then he is going to release the lock. So if this is the case, so let's see how the same thing happened. Like whatever let's see, like if a lost update problem, like so we asked both of them to do all this thing, but still the they are two, P1 and P2 both deduct 10. So if you deduct two tens from 100, the answer should be 80, but the answer is 90 here, and we know why the 90, because of lost update problem. And let's see, by doing these steps, can we arrive an answer of 80. So first, the box P1 is going to go there. So P1 reads, P1 got 100, and P1 deduct 100 minus 10 become 90, and then P1 is going to write that one 90. So therefore after P1 releasing the lock, the value is no more 100. The value is actually 90 over here. Then P2 was waiting. So once P1 is releasing the locks, P2 just grab that lock and then P2 enters to the box. And P2 is saying that, oh well, I have 90, right? So I have 90. So P2, whenever he's going to read, he's going to get 90 here. Then he's going to, then that guy is going to deduct 10. So after deduct become 80, and then after writing it becomes 80. So finally the answer is 80 over here. So essentially, whenever you are accessing a shared resource, very important, shared resource, to manage concurrent transaction, we must need to have some sort of locking mechanism to give you a consistent and correct result. If you do not do that, then we might face this problem of lost update. Alright, so this is what is all the basics about locking. And now remove this box. Instead of box, imagine this is a block in database table, and probably here that is a EMP row is going to be is there. Instead of just number 80, we have an employee record, and then this P1 P2 is nothing, they are different sessions giving update, insert, select, or whatever SQL statements. Alright, so if you imagine that, then what kind of locking mechanism do Oracle or any RDBMS is going to implement so that we are going to get a consistent and correct result. And in the next couple of videos, we are going to discuss in more detail about locking, how Oracle does that. And then, since you remember there is something that's a wait, this wait is going to be problem because it's going to degrade performance. Then, but still at the same time, we are going to lock. Whenever we are working in a shared resource, if we do not lock, then we will get conflicts. Okay, so that is why how Oracle will manage so that there will be a trade-off between the conflict and the wait time. But Oracle manages very well, and then we will see those things in the next couple of videos.